Hello everyone and welcome to my first reaction to Tales of the Jedi. I took a 1-week break and now we are just going to get right on into this. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to do Tales of the Jedi, then I'm going to move into Obi-Wan, and then we're going to see where we go from there, which is basically what I said, I think, in my final Clone Wars story reactions. Okay, so how we are going to do Tales of the Jedi, I'm going to do 2 episodes per reaction. From what I have been told, the first 2 will be maybe a little standalone from each other in this reaction, but then after, you know, the next 2 reactions will have a common something. I don't really know exactly what, but how it was told to me was very, very vague. I understand that there are a lot of you who think that I should have done 3 episodes for 1 reaction and everything like that, but me personally, after a very, very busy holiday season and not taking off any time from the channel, I needed to give myself a lighter workload for like just a couple weeks, okay? That's really all it is. Could I have crammed, because I know that they're shorter episodes, 3 episodes into 1 reaction, sure, but I just need a little bit of a lighter workload for a hot second, okay? All right? Okay. I am really, really excited. I've heard wonderful things. You guys have, as soon as this like came out, you guys were like, Tales of the Jedi. So I'm really excited to get into it. Let's go. Oh, stop. Is this?
Ahsoka.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, ooh. Oh, oh.
Good hunting, Bafti. My little Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm, that's what I was gonna say. I assume that they're gonna, like, this is how they find out that she is force sensitive in some way.
Bafti. Tu am I. Tu am I. Everywhere there is life, value it, honor it.
Oh, she will. Oh, look at these little poofs. Oh, hello, allergy season. Oh, I think she got one of them.
You must face death, Ahsoka. Do not fear it.
Oh.
Kasha, Vita, Anta. Yes, I think so too. We never take more than we need.
Oh my god. Oh no. Something's gonna pop out. Holy shit! Oh my god. Is this gonna be all sorts of horrible? Oh god. What? That's so bad. Living their best life over there. Okay, wow.
Ahsoka.
I feel like she's not gonna get eaten. But, oh, that's horrible. Oh! my god, is she gonna go pet the kitty? Give a little pig pat. Oh! Oh, she booped it. Wow. It's a stunning shot.
Wait!
Holy moly, Ahsoka! Wow.
How could this be?
Jedi. Ahsoka is Jedi.
Wow.
We'll be arriving shortly, Master.
Set us down well clear of the village. Tensions are high enough.
Oh, wow. Doesn't look like there's many people there.
Excuse me. Sorry to trouble you.
Oh. Okay.
Where is the child? Where are they holding the senator's son? Allow me to make my intentions clear.
Jedi.
With due respect, if you don't like him, why not elect a new senator?
I wish it were that simple.
Oh boy.
I will show you where the senator's son is.
You're one of the kidnappers.
Oh. Oh. We're all standing up.
They all are.
Wow. Wow.
Have you been treated well?
For a prisoner, yes. Besides, I have Teuton here to keep me company.
Your ordeal will soon be over.
It's not much of an ordeal. Not compared to how these people are living.
And you are not aware of these conditions?
Rarely leave the capital. When I do, I spend time off-world on Coruscant. Not here. How could my father allow this to happen to his people?
Oof.
He's here. It's brought soldiers.
Oh
You
boy.
have deceived us, Master Jedi. She is hungry. Many would do the same.
Oh god.
Let me assure you, your son is in no immediate danger.
I'll be the judge of that. Guards! Step aside, Jedi. You serve the Senate.
No. We serve the people of this republic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ready!
Oh my god. He's like, Master, what are we doing right now? What are we doing? We're just gonna, okay, let's go! Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I will destroy this town and make an example of it.
Oh!
Many others.
You will not.
None shall
God.
defy me. Not even you, Master Jedi.
Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Go now. Corruption like yours
Oh, wow.
must be eradicated. No! Stop!
It's over.
My
Wow. Wow.
I will not allow your suffering to continue. I promise.
Oh, well, I hope he keeps that promise.
I wonder if any meaningful change will come of this.
Is that why you took action into your own hands?
Your actions saved many lives today.
Just thinking in the moment, Master.
You're a much wiser man than I, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Thanks to your teachings.
Oh, I was wondering if they were going to be people we knew. They didn't say, but who was his master then? I'm watching the credits. Okay, yeah. Cool. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. Yes, cast. Oh. Okay. Oh my goodness, guys. That whole second episode, I was like listening for somebody to say a name, and I think that they like purposely kept it not really revealing anything for like a big reveal at the end, which I did. Anyway, okay, let's talk about these two episodes. I actually really liked both of them. I feel like they're both kind of glances into the beginnings of some of just like the most iconic characters. Now, I don't really know if that's going to continue throughout this show, if it's going to be more of characters we know or, you know, characters, you know, I went into this not knowing really what it was about, except I think a somewhat shorter anthology series about, you know, different tales of Jedi. So I think we do have the potential to possibly go into maybe some characters that maybe we don't know so well, or characters that we do know well. Well, for this, at least these two episodes, they are characters that we know pretty well, let's say. I loved I think the first episode was a perfect first episode. It wasn't too heavy. The second episode was a lot heavier, right? But it just showed how I think Ahsoka's, even the culture that she was born into, you know, when she was like, there seems to be some sort of rite of passage or whatever you want to call it, within, you know, their culture of bringing, once it's over a year or whatever, your baby on hunting and whatever. And as it was going on, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, what's the purpose of it? You know, what's the symbolism or the meaning of it or whatever. And you know, it seemed to be to kind of show what, you know, death really is, and that you don't need to be afraid of it, and kind of an exposure at a very, very young age. Now, I found that to be, you know, kind of interesting. I mean, we're talking about life and death and valuing life, and also in a way respecting death, and you know, when you do kill, there being maybe a purpose behind it to feed people and whatnot. And I think it's just really kind of a beautiful thing to sort of touch on with Ahsoka, especially because, you know, if I'm, you know, maybe this is just my opinion, but I think she is one of the characters that really does value life so much, and tries to protect it in a lot of ways. I have gotten a lot of comments saying that, like, how'd they say it? A lot of comments saying that it's important to watch Rebels before the Ahsoka series, and so we'll see if we can get that done or not, or whether I'll do it on camera, as I have said before, is up to you guys and how much you guys enjoy it and whatever. However, so I know that maybe there's more to her journey that I have not seen yet, whatever, but from what I've seen, she is just such a wonderful example of somebody who does respect life, and and understands the heaviness of death and everything. As soon as we saw that it was her as a baby, I was like, oh, are we gonna figure out how they can how they found out that she, was, as they said, Jedi, and that she, she has these powers, the Force, and all of that. I've talked before that I find it really interesting how the kids get sort of taken away or trained, and I've questioned before how much of it is the parents' decision, how much do they feel like is an honor, how much does it hurt. I have to think that in some level you if you have a child and you bear that child, and I assume you want to be more a part of the child's life, even if it is an honor to be trained as a Jedi. Anyway, those kind of thoughts were running through my head at the end of the episode of like, what really comes next, and how does that affect the parents? Also, how does it affect Ahsoka? I mean, I think that that's something that's really kind of interesting to delve into. I don't think it's the same for every single kid. I think it would be kind of ridiculous to think that it's the same for every single kid. Some kids probably adapt pretty well to it. She seemed, from what we've seen, she seemed to really embrace this in the earlier stages of the Clone Wars and everything like that, and embrace her training and everything like that. So, of course. But I do find all of that really, really fascinating. And I know that people get really, really passionate about it. People have, corrected me on some, but I don't have as much context as you guys do. But also, I don't think it's that bizarre to say that every family that has a child that possibly is taken by the Jedi to train and to whatever might react differently in different scenarios. And I find that to be really, really interesting. And how do the children cope, and how does the family cope, and everything like that. It is something that I would love to dive into more at some point. Maybe one of these episodes we'll deal with that a little bit more. Anyway, it's what I thought about at the end of the episode. The animation was beautiful with the tiger. I say it's some sort of tiger, and her riding the tiger at the end was just really, really, really stunning. Okay, going into the second episode, which I think it was a little bit more loaded. I feel like the first one was like a nice kind of tale, a little bit, and then the second one was a lot darker, a lot more harrowing, just even with the setting, it was desolate and everything. It was so funny. I'm watching this and I'm just like, who are you? But I also thought that it was very possible that we were going to follow characters that maybe, we just haven't seen too much or aren't as prevalent in the Star Wars universe. Possibly. I don't know. I'll put this disclaimer in. There'll be some of you who are angry at me for not knowing who they were right off the bat. I don't know. But if you are, sorry. But I found that to be really, really interesting in a perspective of going into this. We have apparently Dooku and Qui-Gon, and what first of all, an interesting relationship, but also interesting to showcase how Dooku reacted in this episode. I think that I did take note. I went like that, because I really was trying to figure out who we were I was even looking at the lightsabers. I was like, am I gonna get a clue from that? And maybe I should have, but I didn't. But I think when the woman said, you know, when the senator started off, he didn't necessarily mean to be. He probably had good intentions. She said something to that effect, and then it kind of lost his way. And what I, you know, kind of looking back on that, with this being about Dooku, I find really, really fascinating. You know, the exposure that I have to Dooku is kind of the movies and then the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars typically portrays him fairly villainy. You know, there are some, I'm not saying that there hasn't been any complexities that have been shown, but as a whole, you know, but it seemed to be really, really interesting that he was very upset with how these people were being treated, as I think the majority of us watching. You know, it's so telling when an entire village basically decides to kidnap the senator's son to help themselves out of a really bad situation. And, you know, it's extra bad when the senator's son is like, yeah, I agree with them. Like, I had no idea about this. And, you know, and for his reaction to be, I'm just going to wipe these people off of the planet to sort of send a message. I'm going to take this whole village out, you know, the senator, I mean. And I think almost anybody in that scenario, you can kind of tell who's the bad guy and who's not even though they were the kidnappers, right? And what I find really interesting, and I'm about to talk about some stuff, and you guys can, one, correct me or tell me if I'm being kind of stupid with that. But at the moment, there seemed, you know, I think Dooku was looking at this injustice going on, right? And he resorted to a force choke, right? And kind of dark-sidey. We going a little dark-sidey. Well, that's why I was so shocked. Like, obviously, it makes more sense once I saw the name. But to see that happen, and it did, you know, he was getting a little overcome. I liked the way that Qui-Gon helped the situation from there on. But it was pretty, in my opinion, kind of intense. I don't really know where it would have gone if Qui-Gon didn't kind of release the sun. And what I am going to say that maybe sometimes the logistics of like the dark side and falling to it and using it and whatever, I'm not super like 100% clear on or whatever, so this is going to be my interpretation, and you're welcome to tell me that I'm very wrong. But if I know the Star Wars fandom, hi guys, hi, how are you? None of you will agree anyway, so but it almost seems kind of like a drug, not entirely. I don't want to simplify it to that, right? But there's like an interesting like term that gets used a bit, like being like corrupted by the dark side. And maybe this is possibly the first time or whatever that Dooku kind of used like a force choke or something that is typically dark side, you know, to accomplish a goal, to help people. Right? Like, I mean, this is obviously there was a scumbag in the situation. It was the senator. You know what I mean? Like, and I I'm very curious if once you kind of use it, it's almost like it starts corrupting or whatever. I don't really want to say that like anybody who uses a force choke is then doomed to, I feel like I'm not saying this correctly, but like I wonder if it's just something that, oh, this helped me, and then maybe you use it again in another scenario, maybe in another, you know, whatever. And it's just the more, it's the more you get kind of corrupted and kind of like on and sort of lean that way more. That's stupid. Well, that's the way that I kind of, I guess, my mind sort of processed like what happened to Anakin. You know, it wasn't just, it was this gradual process. And as I said, at the end of the Revenge of the Sith reaction, it felt very much like at this point you have no choice but to lean into it a little bit because choices were made, you know, whatever. I don't need to rehash all of that, but it's interesting though, and to kind of see that happen in defense of people who needed defense, you know. It could possibly, you know, somebody just watching this doesn't know much about Star Wars lore or anything like that. It would be hard for them to really even, I think, state that Dooku did anything really all that wrong. And I think that maybe a lot of people, it gives some interesting perspective into his backstory that I find very fascinating. That I think he is against injustice within these people, and that a lot of times villains kind of come from a place of them thinking that they're doing the right thing. I won't say all of them. Some villains are just, they're villainy. They're not the best of people. But I was a little like, I don't know. I mean, because all of the portrayals of Dooku that I have seen have been very, I feel like portrayed very villainy. And this was really interesting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, also lovely to see Qui-Gon. Man, it just makes me kind of want more of that interaction, like Dooku and Qui-Gon and all of that. I'm also going to apologize if I was supposed to know. I mean, it was just that brief second at the end of the reaction where he said Qui-Gon. Maybe I will fully admit that maybe at some point it was mentioned that Dooku was Qui-Gon's master, and I just didn't recall that. It's very possible. I just want to say that. So maybe I should have put all those pieces together sooner. Okay? Maybe I should have. Maybe. I don't know. But both of these episodes were really, really good. They did seem to be fairly separate, but interesting nonetheless. They did have a common theme of kind of like origins or like starts to some of the very popular characters in the Star Wars universe, and I'm really, really excited to see more. All right, I think that is about it. If you would like to support me on Patreon or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But if not, I'm just happy that you are here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.